Good evening, night shifters. This is Third Shift HFY. Settle in, and let tonight's stars tell their story.
They do not speak its name anymore. The world once called Earth, not in council chambers, not in classrooms, not even in the archives where the dead civilizations are listed like errors in code. Because Earth was not a mistake, it was a warning, one that the galaxy dared to ignore. Long ago, in the star-forging youth of the galaxy, the progenitor races walked among the lesser sapiens. They guided the swimmers of Lial's deep, uplifted the dreamers of Teverak, and sent seed code to the blue planet orbiting Sol. But Earth was different. Too chaotic, too emotional, too noisy. Its creatures evolved in violence, swam in extinction, and screamed through survival. They will never be more than clever predators, the Council of Seeding concluded. So the progenitors left Earth behind, unwatched, unmonitored, unshaped. And now, with silence hanging over a fractured galactic order, whispers crawl from system to system. Faint signals, fleeting transmissions, human language, human tone, human laughter. The galaxy remembers what it forgot, and it trembles. It began not with a fleet, not with an invasion, but with a song, a simple waveform, patterned noise tucked inside radiation, a frequency the galaxy had long since ignored, too chaotic, too crude, too human. And yet the noise repeated, not in one place, not from Earth, but from dozens of systems, from long-dead satellites, reborn with new power signatures, from forgotten listening posts, now activated with unknown code. Then came the images, a flame, a child standing in rain, the spiral of DNA carved into stone. Across the stars, machines awoke, alien devices, once thought defunct, began reacting, aligning, projecting, and then, the first word reached the core systems. We're awake. No signature, no demand, just presence. The empires panicked. On Varkash Prime, a planetary AI shut down mid-sentence. On Seren's moon, a message written in old Earth syntax appeared carved into frozen metal. Do you remember what you left? And suddenly, ancient records were pulled from forbidden shelves. The name was spoken again. Earth, and the galaxy, ancient, brilliant, arrogant, felt something it hadn't in 1,000 cycles. Guilt. The council called them a myth. The fleet admirals called them ghosts. The archivists stopped calling them anything at all. But one by one, the stars began whispering stories. A derelict slavering on the edge of the Orvan Rift, liberated in a single night. No ships seen, only the chains left in neat coils. And on every wall, a painted spiral, blue and white. On Keltaran, the corrupt speaker was found with a strange metal cube in his hand. Inside the cube was music, and the song's final line, translated from ancient Earth standard, said, "We don't need to raise our voices, you already hear us." Whole sectors went dark, not by force, but by choice. Colonies that had long lived under council rule began switching off the translation nets, broadcasting in a human tongue, speaking their own names again. Not war, not rebellion, just remembering. The humans hadn't returned as warriors. They returned as myth, whispered into life by the forgotten, the discarded, the silent. And everywhere the signal reached, the people asked the same question. What did we lose when we lost them? The council's silence deepened, because even they had started to ask, what did we become without them?
We were not lost, we were left.
The voice echoed through the council chamber like thunder beneath glass. Not loud, but impossibly heavy. A single human male stood at the center of the citadel, a place where no human had ever set foot. Not because they were barred, but because they had never bothered to knock. The human was unarmed, unarmored. He spoke without ceremony.
You built wonders, but you forgot why you built them. You shaped species, but you never shaped yourselves. We were your abandoned child, and in your absence, we raised our souls.
A hush stretched across the chamber. Not a single translator unit beeped. Not a single delegate dared exhale. The human continued.
We learned your history. We decoded your wars. We studied your empires, your arrogance, your extinction-level mistakes. And we forged something new. Not a vengeance, a standard.
Silence again. Then, a slow flicker of light filled the chamber's ceiling dome. A map of the entire galaxy. Red lines crisscrossed the void like veins, connecting worlds, systems, cores.
These are not battlegrounds.
The envoy said,
These are networks. While you debated dominance, we built something you never could. Unity. We do not seek revenge.
The humans said, their eyes scanning the council, not pleading, not even asking.
Revenge is for equals. We have no equals.
A murmur tried to rise from the seats above, but it died before it began.
You left us behind, and we thanked you. Because in isolation, we remembered pain, and from pain, we learned the truth.
The envoy stepped forward once. The room didn't move, as if afraid any shift would trigger what they feared was already true.
The galaxy became what it is without us. Now you will see what it becomes with us.
A counselor from the inner systems finally found their voice, ragged and uncertain. What do you want? The human turned to face them fully and smiled. Not cruelly, not kindly, just knowingly.
Nothing, except acknowledgement that you left us to die and we became immortal.
The lights shifted again. This time, the map was replaced by dozens of planetary symbols, each world marked with a human spiral, each colony willingly flying Earth's insignia, not because they were conquered, but because they called for them.
We came not with warships,
The envoy said.
but with gravity, and your people chose to fall into our orbit.
The human left without fanfare. No guards, no entourage, no threat. Only a trace of their presence, and the spiral that now burned in the memory of every species who had once turned their backs on Earth. Across the galaxy, the stars did not change, but perception did. Worlds once confident in their hierarchy looked inward. Scholars wept as they realized how much human knowledge had outpaced them. War masters studied battle reports and found no pattern. Because no battle had occurred, there was no doctrine, no countermeasure, only influence. And influence was spreading faster than any virus they had ever faced. Entire governments collapsed, peacefully, not from war, but from truth. The truth that they had failed the child they left behind, and that child had returned a god. Why didn't they destroy us? One world asked. Because they didn't need to, came the answer. They gave us a choice. And across 1,000 systems, a question echoed through every palace, archive, and bunker. What are the humans like now? No answer ever satisfied, because the real answer was coming. They never built an empire. They never planted flags. They never called themselves conquerors. And yet, every corridor of power now echoes their shadow. Where they walked, the mighty bowed. Where they were absent, the forgotten rose. And where they were erased, their laughter lingered the longest. The humans had not returned with vengeance. They returned with proof. Proof that they were never a failure, never unworthy, just unobserved. The council rewrote the archives, but the lie was too old to hold. The stars now speak the spiral in quiet reverence. Children ask their parents, why did they leave us? And none dare answer, because we were afraid. The truth is simple. Humanity was not designed by the galaxy. They were not sculpted, not protected, not contained. They were born into chaos, and they made it sacred. Now, the galaxy tells stories around fires and under sky domes, about the child of soul, the one left behind, the one that came home, not as a species, but as a standard.